Hi everybody, it's Lorraine Murray here from Connected Kids and the Teach Children Meditation campaign. I hope you're well today. I am here to do my next video blog because I quite like these, and hopefully it will help give you some inspiration and ideas on how to start bringing meditation into your busy lives, especially for helping to teach your kids, whether you have your own children or you work with children. Just wanted to touch on this question that comes up sometimes, which is, do children really get stressed? And I think as adults, we underestimate how stressed children can be. Even as adults, we sometimes struggle with processing our feelings and emotions. And anyone who's ever been on a mindfulness course will tell you that they thought they had themselves all sorted out, and they go on a mindfulness course and they soon realise that actually there's quite a lot in there that perhaps needs to be healed or embraced. So children, I think, also go through really difficult feelings and emotions. Change goes on around them. Highly pressurised society that we live in these days. The difference with children, and depending on their age of course, is how do they express that. I think children who have tantrums are basically doing their best to cope with the circumstances that they find themselves in, and they don't seem to have any other tools at that moment in time to help them get what they want or express what they're feeling. I also think that for children who are a little bit older, we don't always give them the opportunity to really talk to us about what is going on because they don't have the words or the way of expressing what they're feeling at that moment in time. And I think that life is just so busy that sometimes as adults we just don't notice. We are really caught up in our own lives or our own commitments that we've made to other people and all the priorities that we think are important. And then unfortunately sometimes our children therefore do not receive our full attention, our full mindful attention. And that's not a criticism of anybody by any means. It's just an observation. I've noticed it, and I think it's really challenging being a parent in this day and age. But hopefully by bringing some meditation and mindfulness into your life and teaching your children, that will help a little bit. And one of the questions I usually get asked is, how do I get started? Where do I begin? I do think it's a good idea to do a little bit of reading, a little bit of research. Obviously we have our book, Can Kids, which is there. And the only reason that exists is because people kept asking me, how do I teach children meditation? So I consolidated everything I knew at that point and put it into that book. But there are other books out there as well, or there's free stuff on YouTube, or, just Google and search on tips and ideas. And choose the ideas that work for you. Don't necessarily choose what you think is some guru's idea of what meditation or mindfulness should be for children. It's always got to feel right to you. Otherwise, it just won't fit and it won't feel comfortable. So look around and do your research, but just really realise that it all comes from you. So try and feel what it feels like. If ideas or techniques really resonate with you and you like the feeling of them, then work with that. If they don't, just ignore them. I'm going to give you some tips and ideas of how to maybe incorporate this into your life, and then it's up to you which ones you want to choose from that, if any at all. The first question I would always ask anyone who wants to teach meditation is, are you calm? And do you practice meditation and mindfulness? Because your energy really rubs off on children. They're like little mirrors that just reflect that right back at you. So it's a really good idea to kind of bring that into your life on a regular basis before you even think about trying to teach your children. If you're highly stressed, you're having a difficult time, then try and find something that will work for you, whether it's just having a bath at night or taking time in the shower or taking a walk or whatever it is that you need to do to get yourself in a more calmer, mindful state, then that's what I would recommend. And encourage your partner to do that too, because children aren't just affected by your energy, they're affected by the other adults in their life as well. I also think it's a good idea to try and introduce mindful meditation into day-to-day activities, because one of the things that people often think is, where am I going to find time to sit down for 10, 15 minutes to teach my child meditation? And, you know, it is difficult, so it is challenging at first. So I would try and incorporate a little bit of mindfulness into day-to-day stuff that you already do. So that might be if you're walking somewhere, or if you're eating something or drinking something, if you're brushing your teeth, or you know, whatever it is that's a normal part of your routine, then try and bring some mindfulness in. And mindfulness would be choosing one of the senses, of the 5 physical senses, to focus on at that time during that activity. So you might want to focus on sound, or touch, or sight, or smell, or taste if you're actually eating something. So you've got different opportunities to kind of tune into that and just really pay attention to that activity, rather than being in your head and your children being in their head as well. So it's a really good way to start, just to incorporate it into your day. Obviously guiding them, what senses, what parts of their 5 senses that they're feeling and experiencing, and just asking them to observe those and to pay attention to them and how that makes them feel. You know, so just paying attention that way. For younger children, and that, when we say younger children, it's really all about attention span. So I could give you age ranges, but really it's about how much attention span does your child have. If it's not very much, even though they're a little bit older, then you just work on the basis that they need a little bit of support, and I would regard that with an attention span of a younger child. So usually when I'm teaching children meditation, I would have them seated or sitting cross-legged on the floor in a chair instead, with their feet on the ground. But, you know, to start off with, that might be a little bit tricky. So you might want to incorporate some meditation relaxation into just before they go to sleep. So that's a natural position that the body will be in for relaxation. And instead of you just tucking in your bed and disappearing, you do something a little bit special, and you get them to focus on their breath and their body, and just describing how different parts of their body feel at that moment. Some parts may feel hot or cold, some parts may feel tight or loose. You know, use the vocabulary that they're comfortable with, and just take them through different parts of their body. And anything that doesn't feel comfortable, you can get them to breathe into it and breathe that uncomfortable feeling out. So doing that lying down is a really good way to help them get off to sleep as well. It isn't strictly speaking meditation, because they'll not be consciously aware of being relaxed and alert, but it's a good start, and especially for younger children. The other thing I've noticed, which is quite useful, is to call meditation a game rather than just calling it meditation. Because again, there can be resistance sometimes from children. I don't want to do this, you know. So if we call it a game, oh, that sounds much more exciting. So we'll maybe call it a meditation game. And you're really wanting to choose the kind of object of the subject of the meditation that would appeal to them. So try and choose a subject that would be of interest to them, you know. If they're really active and they're not interested in gardening or flowers, don't take them into a place like that where they're going to just be bored. But if they're really into robots and science, then try and develop a meditation that's based around that, and they'll be much more engaged with you. Another idea is for you to just be aware that when you're working with teens, that's quite a different group altogether, and that in order to engage that group, we don't really want to go off into the more visualization meditation that would maybe use with younger children. I would say that teens work really well, maybe tweenies as well, work really well with you know, more simple breath and word meditation. So it could be based around, just for this moment, I wouldn't feel angry, or won't feel angry. And that can just be like words that they then think about attaching to their in and their out breath, and just noticing how that makes them feel. It's actually part of the Reiki teaching that I do, and although they're not trained in Reiki, it doesn't matter. It's just a simple affirmation that they can use with the in and the out breath. Other ones that people sometimes use are based on the Buddhist principles, and one that I came across which I really liked is breathing in, my body's like a mountain, breathing out, my body's like a mountain. And that seems to bring in quite a lot of strength into their awareness, because if you think of a mountain, how strong that imagery is. And I think that teens have a real difficult experience of coping with their changing body image and how they're perceived by the world. So it can be quite nice to get them into their body in quite a positive way. I think that when it comes to just trying to bring meditation into your place, you've got to choose, as I said, something that feels comfortable for you. I hope some of these tips will help you to get started. Just so you know, you can obviously come in our courses, but I do offer one-to-ones online as well. So if you wanted to arrange a one-to-one, then just drop me an email at info@teachchildrenmeditation.com, and I'll give you all the information about how you can arrange that. Hope you have a great time trying to teach your children meditation. Good luck.